In ancient northern Britain in 62 AD, young Milo awakens to the clamor in the streets. He steps outside to witness the chaos. Roman soldiers, under the command of Senator Corva, have launched an attack against the Celts to suppress their rebellion. Tragically, Milo watches as the soldiers take the life of his father, the leader of the nomadic Celtic tribe. In an attempt to save her son, Milo's mother intervenes but is knocked down by a passing rider. Senator Corva mercilessly ends her life and orders the execution of all remaining Celts. Fearing for his own life, Milo pretends to be lifeless among the bodies that are heaped together. The nomadic settlement is then set ablaze, leaving Milo amidst the corpses. The next morning, Milo emerges from the pile of bodies, only to witness the devastating sight of his parents hanging from a nearby tree. Determined to survive, he spends a harrowing night under a tree in the forest, but his escape is short-lived as a slave owner soon discovers him. 17 years later in Londinium, Greek traveler Londilium and his companion Bellador arrive at the local amphitheater's arena. Amidst the spectacle, they witness a new contender. Milo, now a gladiator, who effortlessly dispatches 3 Romans, sending them to their demise within seconds. Impressed by his victory, the Greek traveler decides to redirect Milo to Pompeii, ensuring the young man fights closer to the grandeur of Rome, rather than in the remote outskirts. While on the journey, the gladiator Milo catches sight of Cassia, a charming girl and the daughter of a wealthy Pompeian citizen who oversees the city. A mishap occurs as their wagon falls into a pit, causing the horse to collapse, facing a dire fate. Cassia, realizing the animal's impending suffering, implores Milo to help. Making a tough decision, Milo chooses to end the horse's suffering by twisting its neck, evoking sympathy from Cassia. Upon reaching her hometown, Cassia, accompanied by her close friend Ariadne, strolls leisurely back home to her parents. However, when she encounters her father and mother, she avoids discussing the reasons for her forced departure from Rome, where she had been residing for a year. Later in the evening, she visits her cherished horse and instructs Felix to prepare it for the upcoming journey. Meanwhile, Milo finds himself confined in the basement of the local amphitheater where the gladiators are housed. Atticus, a friend of the gladiator, takes notice of the Celt and proposes a bet on whether Milo can endure the night. Confident that the newcomer won't last, Atticus wagers 2 glasses of wine. Soon, a group of gladiators provokes Milo into a fight, citing his past action of taking the life of one of their brothers. The brawl ensues, and Milo dispatches one gladiator to the afterlife while severely injuring the other. The Greek instructs Bellator to take better care of his charges, and Milo is sent to Atticus's holding area just as Vesuvius begins to show signs of activity, causing tremors. Felix notices the nearby lake churning due to the volcanic activity. In a panic, the frightened horse throws him off and bolts away, leaving Felix stranded and unable to escape, ultimately falling to the ground. Come morning, Atticus attempts to pry Milo's name from him, but the distrustful Celt ignores his inquiries. Later, in the arena, Atticus, the reigning gladiatorial champion, engages in conversation with Bellator. He reminds Bellator that after another victory, he is due the promised freedom. Although the overseer agrees, there's one more fight awaited by the gladiator before he attains his freedom. The only challenger daring enough to take on the champion in the training grounds is Milo. From the outset, Atticus asserts his dominance, but the Celt refuses to concede. However, their duel is abruptly interrupted when another gladiator, seeking to end Milo's life, attacks him from behind with a knife. Atticus, observing the treacherous act, steps in to save Milo from certain demise. Later, the local arena's champion admits that his previous intervention was to ensure that every gladiator faces death directly in combat, rather than through a dishonorable ambush. He declares his intent to take Milo's life himself in their upcoming duel the next day. The Celt expresses gratitude to Atticus for saving him, but asserts confidently that he will emerge victorious in the forthcoming bout. Meanwhile, Corva arrives in Pompeii accompanied by his assistant Proculus. However, the reception for the politician is cold, with people not only refraining from welcoming him, but openly turning away, much to Corva's displeasure. Cassia's parents, Severus and Aurelia, extend greetings to the guest and invite him to a grand dinner. Later, Cassia's mother attempts to converse with her daughter to discover the reason for her return, but Cassia remains tight-lipped. Upon noticing the return of her horse without Felix, Cassia senses that something has gone amiss. In the cell, Atticus and Milo engage in conversation, discussing their impending match. Both men exchange remarks, each convinced of their imminent victory. Atticus believes that triumph will secure his position as the ultimate champion, earning him freedom. However, Milo warns him not to be deceived, asserting that Romans are deceitful and cowardly, unlikely to honor their promises. Their discussion is interrupted as they are chosen to be sent to Severus's house. Along the way, Milo spots Proculus, realizing that the man responsible for his parents' demise is in town, residing at Severus's residence. Inside Severus's house, affluent women have the opportunity to hire any of the gladiators for the night in exchange for a significant reward. Meanwhile, a wealthy citizen convenes with Corvus, presenting plans for a new amphitheater. The official informs Corvus that the emperor won't invest in the venture, being solely interested in Rome. However, he offers to cover all expenses, under the condition that Severus brings his daughter to Corva. Among the gladiators, the towering Atticus draws significant attention due to his imposing presence, while Milo is solely focused on Cassia, a fact noticed not just by Cassia's friend, but also by her mother. Severus locates Cassia and requests her presence to meet an esteemed guest. When Cassia lays eyes on Corva, it becomes evident they knew each other previously, and it was due to his harassment that Cassia was compelled to leave Rome and return home. Amidst the gathering, Vesuvius shows signs of renewed activity, resulting in a minor earthquake that causes panic, not only among the people, but also the horses. When Cassia learns her horse is out of control, she turns to Milo for help. Despite Bellator's objection, the gladiator enters the stable unaccompanied. Milo swiftly calms the horse, and Cassia, arriving moments later, witnesses that everything is under control. She seizes the opportunity to suggest that Milo escape, and he extends the offer to her. Agreeing, the pair flees the villa, but they soon find themselves pursued, prompting Milo to consider surrendering. Corva, seeking to punish the fugitive, intended to end Milo's life. However, Cassia intervened, pleading for mercy and offering to be more amiable and considerate towards the senator. Agreeing to Cassia's terms, Corva decrees 15 lashes for Milo. Despite Cassia's plea to her father to halt the brutality, Severus finds himself unable to dispute the senator's decision. Upon returning to the holding area, Milo confides in Atticus, revealing that he saw the man responsible for his family's tragedy. In turn, the champion shares about his own kin, whom he hasn't seen for 2 decades. Drawing closer, the men understand each other's pain, solidifying their bond with a handshake. Milo learns Atticus's name, marking the beginning of their friendship, unshaken even by the looming confrontation in the forthcoming duel. Unfamiliar to the gladiators, Corva alters the schedule, decreeing Milo's demise in the initial duel. The amphitheater fills with spectators gathering for yet another gladiatorial combat. The Greek instructs Bellator to send Milo into the first duel, but the assistant reminds him of Atticus's prowess, slated to triumph over any opponent and secure his freedom. Reluctant to follow through, the Greek changes his mind, ordering the champion to face Milo instead. As the Greek notices cracks forming on the amphitheater's ceiling due to the tremors, he alerts Severus, suggesting rescheduling the duel. However, Severus, determined to avoid postponement, refuses. Sensing impending disaster, the Greek decides to depart the city temporarily. In the midst of this chaos, a staged fight is orchestrated in the amphitheater. Severus, eager to appease the senator, orchestrates a reenactment of the Roman suppression of the Celtic rebellion. Chained to a towering tree, Milo, Atticus, and several other gladiators find themselves encircled by numerous gladiators masquerading as Roman soldiers. In a lopsided skirmish, Milo and Atticus dispatch their adversaries one by one, with Atticus hacking down the tree while Milo continues eliminating foes from atop his horse. As the final opponent falls, Milo defies expectations by breaking the Roman standard, enraging Corva, who had envisioned the spectacle differently. Intent on avenging his tragic past, Milo hurls a spear-shaped piece of the standard toward the senator. In a split second, Proculus manages to shield his master from the attack. The gladiators find themselves surrounded by archers ready to execute them for their audacious attempt on the senator's life. However, Cassia steps in, signaling with a thumbs up to spare Milo. Her plea gains support from the audience, pressuring Corva to abide by her decision. In exchange, she offers herself as Corva's wife, under the condition that her parents, Severus and his wife, remain unharmed. Severus and his wife are dismayed by the turn of events, but dare not protest, realizing Corva's ruthlessness. Yielding to the senator's authority, Cassia is confined to the villa as she now belongs to him. Meanwhile, Vesuvius displays signs of awakening, yet Corva attempts to pacify the populace, asserting that the gods demand another duel. In a bid to satiate the gods, Corva dispatches Proculus, the Roman champion of gladiator fights, to the arena. As the duel ensues, the eruption of Vesuvius blankets the sky with dark volcanic ash, causing the arena to crumble. Chaos erupts as people panic and attempt to flee, while the gladiator fight continues amidst the collapsing structure. Milo confronts Proculus, freeing the other gladiators as the chaos unfolds. Proculus manages to escape, leaving Bellator to a grim fate, torn apart as the amphitheater collapses. Tragically, Cassia's parents are crushed by the falling debris. Aurelia, in her final moments, beseeches Severus to ensure the senator's demise to save Cassia. Severus attempts to fulfill his wife's wish, but fails, succumbing to mortal wounds and passing away while holding Aurelia's hand. Instructing Proculus to escort him to the harbor, Corv sets off. Meanwhile, realizing the impending catastrophe, the Greek, unable to depart the city in time, generously bribes the guards to secure passage on a ship away from the coast. As the gladiators ascend to the arena, witnessing the tragedy of Cassia's parents, they prepare for their inevitable fate. In her last moments, Aurelia implores Milo to safeguard her daughter, revealing that Cassia is locked in a villa situated at the base of Vesuvius. As chaos unfolds, Atticus proposes heading toward the harbor for safety, but Milo insists on staying to find Cassia. Inside the villa, Milo manages to rescue Cassia from the crumbling and blazing structure, but her friend tragically succumbs as the collapsing rocks engulf her body in the chaos. Amidst the stampede of people in the dying city, Corva commands to eliminate anyone obstructing their path. However, a fiery volcanic boulder near the senator prompts a sudden change of heart. Meanwhile, Atticus and others attempt to flee to the city harbor, only to witness a colossal tsunami surging in from the sea, threatening to obliterate everything. Realizing the impending catastrophe, Atticus flees in the opposite direction. In the midst of the turmoil, he encounters a mother and her baby. As the tsunami looms, the mother is lost, and Atticus, acting heroically, saves the child, ensuring her safety before the imminent disaster strikes. Meanwhile, Milo and Cassia endure the falling debris, hoping the worst has passed. However, Vesuvius continues to spew stones relentlessly, signaling that the danger is far from over, and Pompeii is on the brink of obliteration. After joining forces with Atticus, Milo proposes a plan to free the horses from the arena and use them as their means of escape. As they venture underground, encountering Roman soldiers, Cassia, devastated, bids a heartfelt farewell to her deceased parents' bodies. In this moment, she gets captured by Proculus and handed over to Senator Corva, who chains her to a chariot in an attempt to flee the city. Determined to save Cassia, the gladiators confront Proculus as Corva makes his escape. They split up, with Atticus engaging Proculus while Milo races after Corva. In the ensuing battle, Proculus gravely wounds Atticus, but despite his injuries, Atticus fights valiantly, ultimately dispatching a Roman gladiator before succumbing to his wounds. Amidst the chaos, Cassia, using a piece of wood, attempts to free herself from the chariot. As the situation intensifies, the chariot overturns due to an incoming cobblestone. Milo confronts Corva in a fierce battle, severely injuring the senator. Witnessing the unfolding events, Cassia decides to aid Milo, chaining Corva to the chariot, reminiscent of the tragic events 17 years prior. With a moment of decision, Milo leaves Corva to his fate. As they attempt to flee, they realize the horse cannot carry them both to safety. Accepting their fate in the face of Vesuvius's imminent eruption, Milo and Cassia opt not to flee. In their final moments, they share a poignant kiss before meeting their end together.